Working clothes. Many of the European immigrants who arrived in the early part of the 19th century became farmers. Since farmers worked outdoors, they needed tough, comfortable clothing. In summer, these hard-working men wore loose-fitting linen or cotton shirts called smocks. Trousers were usually worn under the smock, but during very hot days, the smock was worn by itself. Large straw hats protected the farmers from the sun. Pantaloons and overalls. In the middle of the 19th century, farmers began wearing high-waisted pantaloons that were held up by suspenders. A shorter white shirt tucked into pants replaced the smock. By the end of the century, these pantaloons developed into overalls, which are still worn by many farmers today. Clothes made from denim. In the West, herds of cattle were tended by cowboys. Early cowboys wore denim coats, leather breeches, and tall boots. In later years, cowboys also wore denim trousers or jeans. In the 1850s, a tailor named Levi Strauss began making and selling these denim trousers, which are now called Levi's. Cowboy hats. Cowboys wore huge hats that came to be known as cowboy hats. They were classified in gallon sizes and were actually used for carrying water. Smaller hats were 2-gallon hats, whereas the largest hats were called 10-gallon hats. These hats doubled as a wash basin or a bucket in which water was brought to a thirsty horse. Rural women. During the week, women farmers wore simple dresses made of wool, linen, or linsey-woolsey. On Sundays, they added a shawl or clean apron if they did not own a good dress. On their feet, they wore thick, sturdy boots. Hats were a part of every outfit. Wide-brimmed straw hats or sunbonnets were necessary on sunny days. Indoors, women preferred mob caps or cotton bonnets. New fabrics for sale. As settlements grew, fabric was more easy to obtain. Frontier women were able to buy flannel and cotton, from which they could make shirts, dresses, and simple suits for themselves and their family. Let's look at this. The farmer on the left is wearing a smock over trousers. Later, farmers wore high-waisted trousers. And then below, cowboys wore jeans, cowboy hats, and buckskin chaps. Chaps protected the cowboy's pants and legs as he rode through thorny bushes. And what about this one? The farmer above is wearing trousers held up by suspenders. Oops, sorry. Rural women wore a cotton, wool, or linen dress protected by an apron. I love aprons. Mob caps, bonnets, and straw hats were the most popular head coverings.